I don't want it because right now I'm tiny, and I
Mhm.
feel like that would be weird.
Because I should be the tiny one.
I feel like neither of us should be tiny.
But I'm the guest. Just make me a little
Just like a
Minecraft
tiny
character
little.
that's big.
I don't know how to.
Can you actually make me floating in the middle of the screen? Just like a head. Oh my gosh.
There we go. Now I'm in a tile. Okay.
Okay.
Now we're equal.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Wait, you can actually edit how we look on here?
Yeah, you have to go to your little thing.
Oh, show on a tile. Whoa. Okay, that's weird.
Mm-hmm.
I can actually like see what that's weird. Okay. Moving. It's good to go. Is there an introduction you'd
No,
like?
but we do need to sync audio, so I'm gonna need you to clap, and
Oh,
that'll be it.
okay. Which is
Also,
it's not
I
scary. It's just
have all of the programs for all the plays that we did in middle school right there. So we've also done that.
and that was far more embarrassing.
Yeah, far more embarrassing. I don't know if that's the funny part is I don't I feel like honestly no introduction needs to be done. I feel
No,
like
it's
the
ABC.
title I feel like the title is enough.
Explains all.
Mhm.
They don't need to know.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay, so do you want to start it off by talking? Do you want to start this off, and then I can?
This is awesome. I love this so much. This is going great. 10 out of
Happens with the
10.
ABC. This is what happens when you're autistic. I'm sorry.
This is why this has never been done before. I feel like it has. I feel like maybe I should Google Autistic Book Club right now.
Let's do that. Autistic book club. I feel like it's gonna pop up with the online forum. Autistic book club group with 960 members on Goodreads.
Yeah, there's an
I feel like
Instagram.
this should be the start of the video. Can we be really honest?
Yeah, I think that's probably what I'm gonna do. Is it's just gonna be some spliced together version of this, and it's gonna be very weird, but they're gonna get it. Anyway, we read Ballad.
Yes, I read it senior year of high school when it came out. I skimmed through it. I hated it. The movie came out that November, I think. I went and I saw it in theaters. I absolutely loved it. I reread it. I fell in love with the book. And then I never picked it up again. And then this is my first time rereading it in about a year and a half, I think.
Okay. And this is my first time because this is also my first time we read through the entire trilogy and didn't record any of those for
Yes.
some background.
Yes.
Um, but so this is my very first time with this book and with the trilogy as a whole. And I still think that Mockingjay is my favorite so far
Right.
of the books, but this one was very, very good in a different way. But it
For
was
me, one. Act one of this really showed through. The Hunger Games is still at my number one. I could probably put this at a number two or number three
mhm,
because looking at Catching Fire is not as good as it was in that first read, just because of the act and the
mhm,
games. But Act One of this book, when he's in the Capitol with Dr. Gall, Dean Highbottom, and he's meeting Lucy Gray for the first time, is arguably one of the best parts of the
mhm.
entire franchise for me.
See, I don't think I could put it second. I because for me, Mockingjay, Hunger Games, then Catching Fire, it's like I don't know if I could put it above Hunger Games just because it's Hunger Games.
Right. And you said that you're a fan of endings, but
I
I said
am.
that I'm more a fan of beginnings
hmm
because I'm a nostalgia kind of person.
hmm I'm also a huge sucker for anything that makes me cry, and
Okay.
I cried just out of like it was weird. It came out of nowhere when I started crying at the end of Mockingjay.
Right.
Like when I cried in Hunger Games at Rue's death and then the bread, that made sense. But or not, yeah, yeah. Um,
It's very rare that I cry over a book, I think. I think one of the first was The Song of Achilles. And then I almost cried during finishing, I think, this book this morning because I had to read the chapter where Sejanus is hanged or hung. And
it
he's
is
at the
hanged.
it is
It
hanged.
is
Okay.
hanged. Yes, hanged is
Oh,
only when
vocab. Okay. When
yeah.
Sejanus was hanged at the hanging tree,
Mm-hmm.
and we have the mockingjays and the jabberjays, the first or the word that they repeat is him calling out for his mother. And that destroyed me. I was not okay.
That hurt. That hurt. That whole scene, I was like, he deserves so much better.
Right. And Coriolanus, I don't know how to feel about what he shouldn't have done that to Sejanus, and he does feel some guilt and regret sending off the bird to Dr. Gall before the hanging happens.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't know Sejanus is going to die, but he does know that it's an option. He does know that it could possibly happen. And even
Mm-hmm.
if it's in the 1%, he still did it.
Yeah, and I think that the because I think he does actually like directly say that that is a possibility, but he doesn't think it's going to happen because his father has money. The Plinths have money, but like I think he's just doing that thing that he does every time he ends up killing someone in this book, where he ends up just making an excuse and lying about it.
Right. Because he didn't have to kill Bobbin. I know he
Mm-hmm.
was in the arena and he was being attacked. He did not have to kill Bobbin.
Mm-hmm.
And I stand by that. And Coriolanus was like, well, I was stripped down to my bare essences, and here's what Dr. Gall is saying about that. But the truth is that you brutally murdered Bobbin in the arena, and now you're using this BS excuse to say, oh, well, when we're in the arena, we're savages. That's not true.
Mm-hmm. Each time he he makes the argument of self-defense, and each time it gets less and less convincing.
Yes.
Like
And then the
it,
second was Mayfair. Yes.
mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because she would
Which
have.
to me, so that's a, can I be so honest? Okay, let's step into Coriolanus' shoes, as difficult
Mm-hmm.
as that may be.
Mm-hmm.
If you think if you're now an accessory to treason, high treason against the Capitol, and someone walks in and they're 100% going to report you, what option do you have? I'm not saying it made sense like I would have killed Mayfair, because I wouldn't have become a peacekeeper, but it does make sense for Coriolanus to have done it.
Mm-hmm. No, and it also makes sense for him to kill Bobbin, and it makes sense for him to turn in Sejanus. Like it makes sense all these times. It doesn't make sense what happened with Lucy Gray.
No.
That whole chapter, I was like, am I going crazy? What's happening?
It's all of his perspective. This is the ultimate moment of reflection of his
Mm-hmm.
mind. And you see that when he gets bit, the snake bite is described as arched. So it's not venomous, but he fully convinces himself that it is venomous.
Mm-hmm.
And so he starts to go crazy, and then he meets with the doctor at the base. And she says, well, you were probably just paranoid,
Mm-hmm.
which is
Panic will do
completely
that
true.
to you.
Right.
And
And
I
so
am
now
and I am recognizing the fact right now that we never introduced you.
oh, oops.
Eh.
It's
So
fine. My name's
mhm.
That's just
Cool.
perfect.
All right. Autistic book club. You get it.
Right.
Anyway, Do you think that he killed Lucy Gray or not? Because I was talking about this with my older sister.
I think he was such in a state of paranoia that it's possible for both to have happened.
Mm-hmm.
And that I respect Suzanne's decision to not tell us,
Mm-hmm.
and that as a reader to accept that both are possible, and that I'm not really taking a side here because in his state of paranoia, he could have imagined anything. So when he's hearing Lucy Gray singing, now I'm beginning to wonder, was she even singing at all? Was she even present? Because she still
Mm-hmm.
have gone out and gotten the Katniss. She could have been there at the lake, but he wasn't there. She could have been anywhere. And after hearing gunshots, she could have fled. And at the same time, if he thought he aimed at her and shot her, it is entirely possible he maybe hit her in the heart or the head and she was out.
Mm-hmm.
I like to believe that she escaped him because it would be terrible for her to be his fourth victim because I love her. And I don't think, with his perspective that we gain, that she was ever given the right light because he's projecting his own thoughts onto her. So I don't want her to be dead, but it is possible.
Yeah. No, I ultimately, yeah, like we can't know, and that's the point. Like it is so up in the air. But like, personally, I feel like it I don't know. I feel like he was just so paranoid that none of that was really happening. And even if she was
Right.
there, he didn't even remotely shoot her.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately, he thinks that he did.
I don't think he's a good shot because if we're remembering his peacekeeper training, it was a Janus.
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes out and he's killing the Jabberjays. He only shoots 3, which that was a piece of symbolism for the 3 people that he killed. But given that time frame where he was out there, he should have been able to kill a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think Corio is very good at handling a gun. In the first hanging with Arlo and Lil, you know, he's nervous about holding the gun and he doesn't know how to use it, which he's later trained, but just to further solidify that point.
Mm-hmm. He is nervous, but I do believe he also does say, which is a crazy line, he's like, "This gives me power. I like how strong I feel with this gun in this uniform."
I like to think that he's talking to himself in those Sigma male TikTok video kind of way. Like, it'll have the alpha wolf and it's like, I'm powerful. Don't mess with me because I bite back. Like that,
Yeah.
like that kind of thing.
It's like you're reading. It would be so interesting to me to read this one before you read the trilogy,
Oh, hell yeah.
and just see how long it takes you to realize this is not a good guy.
Right. Or
'Cause,
how long
like-
to realize he's an unreliable narrator.
Mm-hmm. Like, because he sucks.
Right.
The entire.
He's not doing that in Act 1.
No,
Well, he is fine, but
it's just when he becomes a cop, it gets worse.
Harry Potter. This always
'Cause-
comes back to this. This is what happens every time.
Every time, and they don't know.
Harry Potter became a cop
Harry Potter
after
became a
starting
cop.
at 15 years old.
Harry Potter, the boy who at 14 was able to resist the Imperious Curse simply because he had a voice in the back of his head telling him, "Why should I listen to these orders?" That one became a cop. That's the one.
And Dumbledore as the institution. And then he becomes a part of it without fixing it. I think that was a very bad
Institution
ending.
that worked for Wizard Hitler.
Right. Wizard Hitler. And I think Dumbledore kind of liked his art. I don't know. Bad joke. Moving back to the story, I don't even know where we left off because this is where we always end up. We end up with Harry Potter.
We do always end up with Harry Potter. So So, music is such a big part of this book. Such
And
a
he
big
hates
part.
it. He's such a hater.
He hates music.
Even when the Jabberjays pick up a melodic tune from the covey, he's like, I hate these Jabberjays. They should never exist. We should control them and their resistance to the capital. Dude, they're singing.
Mm-hmm. No,
You know?
it's such like the things that we talked about in the trilogy that obviously no one knows but us about Mockingjays and their existence being rebellion. Like
Yes.
Koryo instantly clocks all of that and hates it. He reads the symbolism as if he recognizes that he is a character in the story and also the antagonist. And goes, this is bad. This is what I hate. Music is bad because music sparks rebellion. Music sparks dissent. It's creative. It a lot of it reminded me. There's this YouTuber I watch, Zoe B. She does amazing video essays, and she is one about how, like, fascists are fascism is inherently uncreative.
Mm-hmm.
And fascists cannot be creative because it is a worldview that is dependent upon choosing to just refuse to imagine anything better.
Mm-hmm.
And so this beautiful, beautiful like expression of art in the Covey and all this, and in the Mockingjays, in their melodic singing, them being songbirds. He just can't stand it. At the end of the book, like the new peacekeeper, like the new head peacekeeper, comes to District 12, and there's that line that's like, "Music causes trouble," and he's basically like,
And he bans
"Yeah,
music from the copy. Just how they make their money, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Well, even when Lucy Gray is singing, it's the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. So she has a lot of ballads. He blatantly misunderstands every single one. And it's so frustrating to read from his perspective because she's singing about her experiences, her trauma, her past relationship. He's like, well, what if she stopped singing about that ugly Billy Tope and she started singing about me? But in her own way, she is. She is singing about you. And it's not good either.
Mm-hmm.
And everything comes back to him in the end. That's what his mindset is about.
Yeah, and their relationship was always about him. She was, we've talked a little bit about this, like, over text, but she was, from the beginning, his girl.
Yes, in the first announcement, before they even say her name, the girl from District 12 belongs to Coriolanus Snow. And throughout the entire book, he never just calls her a girl. It's his girl. That's his girlfriend. She is a piece of property. And I believe that the only reason he feels something akin to love for her is because she recognizes him. He feels that in the capital he's not being recognized. But now she comes in and she's saying, look at how good you are. And I think that amount of feeling that she has for him or recognition is making him be like, oh, I must love you because you like me.
Mm-hmm.
But nothing about her he actually liked. All of her personal traits, he was like, that sounds like a capital rebel. Well, why are you with her? Is the question.
He views her as exceptional because he is also exceptional. Like, there's that one line in there that I underlined where they're talking and he's like, we're both exceptional. And that's it, is that he believes that he is exceptional. He is so far above, like, Snowland's on top. Like, but, and she is also exceptional. She's able to captivate a room. She has this ability that he doesn't have.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, he doesn't view her as more exceptional than him, or even equally exceptional. She is always, always lesser than him. because even though she's not district,
Mm-hmm.
like she so disagrees with that. It's like, no, I'm Covey. We're completely different. To him, she is, and he is capital, and that makes him inherently better.
And no matter what she does, it comes down to how he views their places in society through a capital point of view, which you just mentioned. He's saying, here's what I believe in, and it's better because I'm from the capital and I can't give up my stature in society. When they're out for the last time together in the woods, he starts to regret his decision because he now views himself being in the woods as a waste of fine breeding. And it's really terrible because he just views her as an animal. That's what it comes down to. Everyone else around him, capital or district, is an animal. He just treats those from districts worse
Mm-hmm.
because of what happened during the war.
Right. And he can't get it because she's like, my dad died in the war, and he's like, my dad died in the war. Like, you could use that moment to empathize with her and say, I understand how you feel because my dad also died in the war. But instead, what he's saying is, care about me. Look at me.
Mm-hmm.
None
And
of
it
that.
starts a fight.
Yeah.
And it starts a fight because then he starts to think about the districts and how much happened and how it was the districts who started the war. But
Mm-hmm.
you're talking to Lucy Gray and the loss of her father. It's not about the war anymore. It's just about her personal loss. It's not about District 13 starting it and now they're destroyed and now the districts need to be paid. This is a daughter who has lost her father and is looking for connection from the one man that she now trusts. And he is just taking active manipulation over that and saying, now manipulating her and saying, well, your feelings are undermined because I'm capital. And you guys essentially deserved everything that came to you. And my father fought for the control that we now have. Like, weird, but okay.
It's just like.
And also his treatment of women in the first place. He does not want to acknowledge prostitution to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
He hates the idea of it. And I don't know why. Hold on, I have a quote. I'm going to pull it up. It's about Tigress. And he never wants to acknowledge in the story the fact that she may have had to sell her body to provide. And he says, and what on earth would she possess trading for? Only one thing, herself, and the House of Snow had not yet fallen that far. Or was it falling now as he salted the cabbage? He doesn't care to ask Tigress, and it's just an underthought. He's saying, it might happen, but we're Snows and we're capital, so it won't. But he mentions it later in the story. She's like, you have no idea what I had to do to provide for you. And he thinks about the prostitution thing again. He's like, no. He just does not care at all.
Yeah, and it's an inability to. It's crazy. Because he's so close in that first part, and even in the second part of the book, to getting there. But it becomes clear in the third part when he should be able to empathize, when he's been forced down, right? Like, thinking of you've read Trials of Apollo, you haven't read any of the Percy Jackson stuff, but in one of the series is about Apollo, the god, being sent down to live as a mortal, to teach him humility. Pretty basic story, happens in a lot of things. He should then learn humility. He should start to see these people that he's stuck with as people, and he doesn't. He just is more and more convinced that they are animals.
Mm-hmm.
And
well,
even
I'm going to talk Star Wars and Harry Potter for a second.
Okay.
With Dean because with Dean Highbottom and Coriolanus, we see a very strong Snape Harry Potter happening. I'm now punishing the son for the sins of the father instead of forgiving my past and now taking care of the one person that I'm not going to say Coriolanus deserves more care than others, but if you are the dean of this school and you think that you see the reflection of Crassus Snow in your student and you see cruelty, why are you going to further breed that? And he's also self medicating, so he's not in a right state of mind because of more of what he's done. But Dean Highbottom does have some responsibility there because he left Coriolanus to the devices of Dr. Gall, who he also hated.
Mm-hmm. I find it really interesting how the most basic premise of the Hunger Games is Dean Highbottom's. But the Hunger Games that we know and recognize from the trilogy, that is not actually 74 years old. That is a creation of Snow.
Oh, that hits hard. That is so good.
It's like because I really like focused on this during like the epilogue. The Hunger Games was Highbottom's like evilest impulse, but it was so unrefined because that's all it was. It was just an impulse, right? Something that comes from an otherwise relatively moral man. Obviously not perfect, but someone who does actually care and doesn't want this to happen. It's you know very much like a it's just like it's the thoughts that you never would share with the world. But then Snow takes that and he harnesses it into a more real form of cruelty because he puts effort in and because he's careful and he wants this. Like Highbottom's evilest impulse is just that. But Snow's cruelty is more than an impulse. It is something that is a science.
Right. It's an impulse. It's the evilest impulse for Highbottom. But for Corio, it's just his nature.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in a couple of scenes, you're saying in Act 1 and 2, he is so close to achieving
So
empathy.
close. He's so close.
And he begins to regret the Hunger Games and think that it's a bad idea. And he, I think, has a form of PTSD from being in the game. And he begins to, for once, think about how it might have impacted Lucy Gray. And he just decides to forget all of that. He's like, wait, but the games are good, even though I was forced into it. And now I see only a tiny shard of what these tributes are forced to experience every single year.
And
he's so
no, we can also talk about that on a larger scale because he's like, you know, he's the poorest person in the capital. I mean, not necessarily true, like
poorest
literally.
In the rich districts.
Like he is so well off comparatively.
Right.
And regardless of like, you know, sure, he goes hungry. He doesn't eat every meal.
Mm-hmm.
But he goes to this amazing institution. And the truth is, right, he's so concerned about getting into like a high tier school.
Mm-hmm.
Because of course the capital doesn't have like anyway. But he's so obsessed with getting into a good school, but only really because he wants the type of job that is worth his lineage, worthy of a Snow. Like he would graduate from high school and then go to work anywhere and he would be fine. He could move out of his penthouse apartment with Tigris and the two of them could work and they could provide for themselves and they wouldn't be as comfortable, but they would manage.
Right, and all of his insecurities about his poverty, and I'll elaborate on that, come from capital belief and his own self-righteousness, because he believes that a Snow shouldn't be in that position and that it is shameful to be there. And it's, again, frustrating because, yes, you said he's missing every meal, but he's not struggling. He has meals provided for him. He cannot pay for his college, but he's very close to winning this tuition prize offered by the plinths or by the game itself from the academy. And so if he were to go to districts, he'd actually be in a position like the mayor. Like in the original trilogy, the mayor and Madge, they're so well off. I don't think they're that well off. They just have a house, a family that can all work. And, regular meals. You're not skipping every meal. He's not trying to skip every meal, but I wonder what would have happened if he had the gall to ask for help. If he could say, I'm struggling, I'm a snow and I'm struggling and I need help finding a job, providing a job for my family and finding meals, the plinths would have provided that for him, not as a tuition prize for winning the Hunger Games or for being a friend of Sejanus. The plinths are just good-natured in that way. They would have helped Snow, but he's so self-absorbed that he can't see past that.
Because ultimately it's a pride thing, and to ask for help is to admit that someone is better than him.
Right.
And no one can be better.
He should be the Lord here.
Well, he's going to be president one day.
Right. Well, I started reading Sunrise, and there is a hilarious promo poster that Haymitch sees in Chapter 1. And can I mention it? Can I tell you what it says?
I really wanna.
I want your reaction to it so bad. Because
right,
I was reading today. No, wait, I'm gonna let you react to it.
Okay.
Like as you're reading, and later tell me. Because I think it's freaking hilarious. Just given Coriolanus' past and all of his beliefs that we have to sort through in this book, the picture that Haymitch is now forced to see coming into the 50th Hunger Games. Because in the 50th, small spoiler, I suppose, District 12 is going to be different than it was 50th versus 74. There's promo posters all over District 12 on each reaping, supporting the Capitol, and Snow's on one of them. I just thought it was humorous what they said, but I will let you get there when you get there.
I will say, I was really trying to wait, but it is really hard when I see Sunrise right there and knowing that that's the book that I've been most excited for this whole time. Because even before I started the books, I was like, I know I'm going to love Haymitch, and I know that one's about Haymitch. So I did open it up, and I read, like, the first sentence about how Haymitch is, like, the one good thing about having your birthday on Reaping Day, and I was like...
Which we discover from Coriolanus in the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, is that today is July 4th. Happy birthday, Steve Rogers. Happy birthday, Haymitch Abernathy.
Do you think they would have been friends?
Steve and Haymitch?
Yeah.
This is a tough question.
Yeah, because at first, my first instinct was, of course. And then I was like, wait.
I think Steve would want to help Haymitch. If they're meeting later in life, when Haymitch is 40 and Steve is out of the ice, I think Steve would feel the need to reach out to Haymitch to help him. Because Steve is a helper by heart, despite his self-guilt from surviving the war and waking up and his best friend has been taken by Hydra. He could never forgive himself for that. But instead of Steve self-reflecting, he projects his helping nature onto others. So I think he would be there to help Haymitch, but I don't think their personalities align in the way that Bucky and Steve did, as we see in the first movie, Captain America: The First Avenger. I don't think they align in quite that way.
Yeah, I can see Steve definitely wanting to be friends with Haymitch, and Haymitch just not being willing to accept anything from Steve.
Of survivor's guilt. But I really don't know, because I haven't read Sunrise. We meet Haymitch as a sort of Dean Highbottom character, where they are suffering so much from the Hunger Games that they are now self-medicated at all times to not produce even one single real thought. So I don't know who Haymitch really is beyond that. And we see snippets of him between these interactions of Katniss and Haymitch. But again, that is someone ravaged by the war. That
Mm-hmm.
happens every single year with 24 teenagers.
Right. Ah, it's just, it's crazy. It's crazy how poignant the whole Hunger Games just are. Oh man. Anyway, um, there's this one line. I was looking through my notes because I have my notes
Right.
that I specifically jotted down, where uh, Snow says, "In some ways, it'd be better to have Lucy Gray locked up in the Capitol, because at least then she'd be I would know where she was."
Oh, ew, because he has that weird daydream where they both survive the games and he convinces her to step away from District 12 and just live with him as a little house pet. Throw up in my mouth. Can we be honest?
Well, it's also like a whole larger thing of like he thinks that it is she should be grateful that he is in District 12 as if he chose to be in District 12, as if he wouldn't be in the capital preparing to go to college right now.
He only chose to go there because he just wanted to see her. That was the best option. Because I think he was going to be given to another district, and he asked a ticket keeper to send him to District 12, which is not commonly asked, so they oblige him. But he goes there because it's just easier and he wants to find her, the love of his life. But again, if he had the choice, he'd be in the capital and he would forget about her. Because if she's not attainable from a distance, then whatever, forget about it. Absolutely. And he thinks about it multiple times. He'll be with her. He's like, life is so good with Lucy Gray. Oh no, my classmates will be preparing for class right now. I'm so sad. Boy, who cheated in the Hunger Games? I don't know what to say to you.
It's like, well, because like
He has no
he
self reflection.
pretends that he's content with Lucy Gray. He pretends that he actually would be happy with her, but it's only because he knows that he doesn't have a way back to the capital yet. And when they run off together, which he only does because he's forced to, because he has no choice in the matter,
Because
which is
there's a murder
also
weapon.
which is also why he went to District 12 in the first place. He
Mm-hmm.
starts talking about how he's no different than an animal, having to be subject to the changing weather, and having to fish each
Dig
day
for
and
worms.
hunt, dig for worms, which like is a larger like he views the capital or no, he views district people as animals because he views all humans as animals unless they have the capital.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like,
Which he's
oh,
terrified of the capital himself in multiple ways. But he forgets about it because all he wants is control. In those moments that he felt fearful, he was not in regret of what the capital was doing to people. He was in regret because he was not the one in a position of power.
mm-hmm,
Lucy gave him power, it gave him self recognition. And I don't think he loved her. I don't think he's truly capable of loving anybody, which is why Livia Cardew, and her name Livia, Augustus, first emperor of Rome, Livia was his wife. And so if Coriolanus Snow is to inherit Rome, which is Panem, build Rome up, Livia Cardew, who he mentions in the epilogue, would be the perfect wife because he actively acknowledges that he's incapable of loving her and that she can't harm him. Everything for him is very meticulous. It's saying, what will give me more power? Oh, I should marry a capital girl. But if I'm with Lucy Gray, I'm a beast. I'm disgusting. My well breeding has been thrown into the trash. And I hope he married Livia Cardew because it makes Mockingjay truly more interesting because I think Plutarch Heavensbee assistant was a Cardew.
mm,
His assistant, his rebel assistant, I think it was a Cardew descendant.
mm, that's interesting.
So I truly hope he married Livia Cardew, though I feel bad for her. Because imagine being married to a psychopath. But she agrees with those values, actually, so it's probably beneficial for
Good for
them.
her. Good for her, you know. She's happy. She's
Marrying a
happy.
murderer. Ew.
It's like
Ew.
it's like ultimately, even if I could look past the fact that Snow is a fascist, even as an 18-year-old, um, because of course he is.
And dating a 16-year-old girl.
Oh, is she 16?
Yeah.
Oh, I missed that part.
I think it's mentioned. I think I picked up on it because we were talking about Divergent
Mm-hmm.
and how I don't know how old Triss is, maybe 17, when Four is in his 20s. We were
Triss
talking
is
about that.
16 and 4 is 18.
Oh, got it. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
But it's a little bit horrifying because that's a sophomore and a senior. And when you're in high school, when you're older, age gaps don't matter. Really.
Mm-hmm.
When you're that young, that 2 years in for Astress, he says, those 2 years must be insurmountable. They are. They really are. And so we have 18-year-old Coriolanus with 16-year-old Lucy.
Mm-hmm. And also in both cases, it's not even just an age gap, it's a power dynamic because
Mm-hmm.
4 is Triss's
That
instructor, like
disgusting
her
freak.
teacher. She, that is your student.
And he puts her in dangerous positions, bringing her into the scenario with his four fears. There's a scene with the knife throwing. Do they love each other? I think Triss could love Four. I think Four loves her in return as a thrilling aspect, or leaving the abnegation faction. It excites him because now he sees another version of himself. He's not entirely alone. Again, it's a thing about self reflection.
Mm-hmm.
He views her as exceptional because they're both exceptional. And there's a scene later in the books where he's upset that he's not truly divergent, that only Triss is divergent. Interesting. And it ends in a fight, as it always does. The male character starts the fight because they are no longer special.
Yeah, there are also definitely larger problems with
I haven't read
that.
this in so long, so this is what I remember.
I read them for the first time like year and a half ago, and it was the worst mistake of my life.
And when I
Um,
asked you, I hate every second of this.
I hated the whole time. I've never hate read before. That was the first instance ever in my life of hate reading, and I don't know. Maybe we have to do. Maybe we have to read those books.
We could probably do it Christmas break because those are pretty quick reads.
Yeah,
So when I'm home for Christmas break from college, we could definitely do that.
and then we could watch the movies because I haven't seen any of the movies, and they're incomplete, of course.
The
I know
movies
that.
are worse. The movies are so much worse in terms of how the relationship works out because there's no inner dialogue from Triss anymore. But those YA movies, sometimes they really dumb it down and they focus on the love interest to sell the movie to consumers.
Mm-hmm.
So now we have Theo James, who looks, about 30, with little young Shailene Woodley. That's weird. That's weird. I love Theo James, my handsome husband. But no, no. The dots aren't, they're connecting, but they aren't pretty.
It's not. But I think maybe, just maybe, we should shift away from Divergent.
Splendid idea.
Because that is the only series that I would like to talk about less than I want to talk about Harry Potter. Um, so, talking about Corio's morality, right? His
Yes.
Is something wrong? Um,
Silence from the peanut gallery.
um, like his morality. Human beings are animals without a force to control them.
Mhm.
Versus what Lucy Gray says about it is not like it's not us be like our natural selves. It's what they force us to do.
Yes.
I think that's really crucial because I was waiting for that this whole book as we're like getting Snow's explanation of what humans are, and I'm like, okay, but Suzanne Collins doesn't believe this. We're not supposed to take
Mhm.
this seriously. What's her point? Like, what does she actually believe? And ultimately, which is not a very surprising thing from the person who wrote The Hunger Games, is that it's all about circumstance. Is that when you're forced into a situation where it is kill or be killed, you are going to kill.
I think Coriolanus uses the districts not having the capital as a reasoning for we are at nature evil. And I think he's not acknowledging the fact that it's the districts.
Mm-hmm.
They are in the districts facing the current oppression of the capital. So, in their natural state, they are going to rebel and they are going to fight for food, money, power, freedom, all of those things. And he's saying that's so evil. But remove them from the context entirely. Who are these people at their core? They're people trying to survive. It is what they are forced to do, what Katniss and Peeta are forced to do. And so, what Lucy Gray is saying is the true belief. It's saying, put them out in the wild and set us free, and we are good, and we want to help each other. We want to love each other. And again, Coriolanus doesn't want to see anything that she's saying because it's for like President Coin, which we were talking about last time. It's all about what best serves you at that time. It's not necessarily if you believe it or not.
Mm-hmm.
There is no belief in a true system. It's only a belief in a system that gives you the most control.
It's just because I was torn this whole book. I really was because part of me, you know, any book I'm reading, I want to like the protagonist, but at the
Me
same
too.
time,
Attack on Titan.
I don't want to like Snow,
Mhm.
and especially when he is so close in so many cases, and you can see it. You can see so clearly how he could have turned out better because he has Lucy Gray in his life, because he has Sage Annis, like he has these people. He even has Tigress, right? This his cousin, yes, but who fills a Katniss role, right? Katniss with Prim sacrificing everything for her
To
not younger
protect him.
sibling, younger cousin, but still, like so much, and showing him that love, and he just missed it. It's so tragic.
Because what ends up happening with Tigress becomes a designer in the games. And then we meet her for the first time in Mockingjay, where it is said that Snow decided she wasn't useful anymore. And we see that in the end of Ballad. Things that are not useful to him are now put to the side. Lucy
Mm-hmm.
Gray, can we be honest about their relationship? They didn't need each other, they wanted each other. And when he realized that it was more of a want situation, he threw her away and said, "Oh, the capital," without realizing you can have both of those things. You can chase technically what you need. And for him, his need was power with what you want, which is the love of your life, in quotes there, because she's not. He has no true love. The love of your life combined with everything you ever needed for life. You have your security. And
Ultimately,
so for
though,
him to cast Icarus out makes full sense.
it really does. And when I like first like was reading that in like the first chapter, and I was like, Tiger, oh my gosh, she's his cousin.
Leonardo DiCaprio meme.
Yeah, no, that, and I was like, oh my. And the fact, thinking about the fact that this person who was sacrificed so much, right, even hinted at some like form of prostitution for Choreo. And she would get to the point where when Katniss tells her, I'm gonna kill Snow, she smiles.
Mm-hmm. Because Tigress was there to work Coriolanus through what was happening in the games. She was one of the only people who knew he went into the arena, besides Highbottom, Gaul, Lucy Gray, and Sejanus, and all the other tributes who then later died. She knows that at the beginning he did not agree with it, that he was a good man, and that she supported him. She had so much hope for him,
Mm-hmm.
so much of it that it hurts. And we see this younger version of herself, and all of his thoughts about her are so derogatory. And it's disappointing because that was, besides the grandmam, which isn't really much of a character because we don't see much of her.
Mm-hmm.
She is the one person who loves him without condition. And for Lucy Gray, her condition was trust. And for Sejanus, I think, I don't know if he loved Coriolanus. I don't know at what stage. I would have to think about their friendship more deeply because Sejanus was just at the time looking for comfort because no one around him agreed with him. And Coriolanus's words never matched his actions, so Sejanus could never have put two and two together.
I do kind of feel though like Sejanus and Lucy Gray and Tigress, especially. I you know, I mean, he's like Snow is obviously a master manipulator, and he wasn't being honest for like the entirety of the book, neither with himself or with others. But I just, especially I guess with Lucy Gray, I think Sejanus would be more likely to be fooled, but Lucy Gray, she had to have seen something real in him. Something
That
that
was what
he
connected
just,
them.
mm-hmm, something
At the
that he
zoo,
just
he
chose.
admits that he doesn't have every meal.
Yeah, he just
It was that
couldn't.
honesty, that boyish honesty. And then from boy to man, he becomes Hunger Games Hitler.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Uh huh.
Which is the same thing that happened with Voldemort. Anyway.
Um. You mentioned earlier. You know,
Mm-hmm.
he can have both, or he can go for both what he wants and what he needs. Right. What he wants
Mm-hmm.
being Lucy Gray, and what he needs being like power, effectively. But in the capital system,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's true. I don't think you can ever have what you want and what you need. I think you must always pick one.
Mm-hmm. Which is why they didn't work, because we see Coriolanus. He becomes the capital system, of course, because he becomes the president. He
Mm-hmm.
is the vision of the new Rome. He's building it brick by brick.
Mm-hmm.
I think he knows he can't have what he wants, to support your point here. In the end, what he wants is Lucy Gray, but again, with Lucy Gray comes the denial of the capital. They are contradictory interests.
Mm-hmm.
To let yourself truly live or to love another person is a want, not a need. The capital is the need. This umbrella institution.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I agree with you on that. It's not possible.
Like in an oppressive
It's not
system,
possible for Finnick Odair.
you can never have what you want and what you need. At some level, sure. But at the end of the day, what Lucy Gray wants is to be her, and that is the most important thing.
Mm-hmm. Her wants almost become her needs. Like, let's be honest, like in District 12, if we flip back to the original trilogy, they have basic needs, which are to eat, to have a house, to have clothing, to work. Their wants are to escape into the meadow and to have a life without the capital. So we have a want and a need in this oppressive system. Their wants are actually their needs. Coriolanus needed Lucy Gray to flip that mindset, even though it's a dangerous precedent to set that your lover should fix you. So
Yeah.
no, he did need guiding figures, I should say, but it became a want with the system of oppression. Because at a certain point, he was oppressed too, with fear and all these things.
Well, an oppressive system is oppressive for everyone except for the person at the top.
Mm-hmm.
And until
Welcome
he is
to-
president, he is also oppressed.
The fact that he was a peacekeeper is still crazy to me.
He was a cop. I already didn't like him. I already knew he was a bad guy.
And the peacekeepers actively participate in the treason going on in District 12. Even though it's not treason, they provide the... What do you call someone who makes alcohol? I'm just going to say they provide the alcohol makers with an income, because they're the ones buying the higher grain resolutions.
Mm-hmm.
They're the ones in the beginning supporting the Covey and going to their band performances. They're the ones in the Hob. Like we see Darius 64 years later in the Hob with Katniss and supporting someone like Greasy Say. So I'm not saying it was a difficult position for him because he always knew what he wanted in the end, which was the capital. But it must be difficult for someone from the districts, perhaps forced to become a peacekeeper and oppress their own people, or for someone from the capital to be removed from the capital, put in the district, and now they are participating in the treason against the district, which he asked Sejanus about. He's like, I don't know if he directly asked him, but it's like, what is it like beating down your own people? And Sejanus is like, well, I'm from District 2 and these are District 12. Oops. So I don't know what your thoughts on that are.
Yeah, I don't. I think part of that I'm from District 2, not District 12. I think that's an important part of how good the capital is at causing separation between all the districts and making sure that they see each other as all different, as instead of like the same, even though the capital themselves see all the districts as one and the same. And even those that aren't officially in the districts, like the Covey, like they aren't district. Like they're no district. They are also district to the capital. Very much like...
I wonder how Coriolanus views those rebels that are not... Because there's a black and white. He loves things that are black and white. He hates the gray space. The Covey is that gray space. He's fighting with Lucky Flickerman, which Lucky was a character. I didn't really like him. I love Caesar. Love Caesar Flickerman. Anyway,
Lucky
he's fighting for
crawled
the game.
so Caesar could run.
Right. Which I wonder if there was an in-between point. Like, I'm just wondering how old Caesar is. Moving on. What was I talking about? What was I talking about?
It's the beauty of this. It's the beauty of the autistic
It's
book.
the name. It's gone. It's gone. Because
see if we can spark it. Division.
Something with he's
black and white.
He's trying to fight for Lucy Gray's position as more of a human being because she's not district. She's outside the district. The Covey were forced to become district. But then he kind of goes back and forth on those beliefs. And then music becomes banned, and now he's the president 64 years later. And we see from Katniss that maybe the Covey does not exist anymore at all.
Mm-hmm.
Which makes sense, because if music is banned, you no longer have a way of life. You have to become a minor in the town. But the lack of gray space. Who do you become when you are not capital or district?
Lucy Gray's space. Which
which he
also, the music thing, how much he hates music and how music is like this. It's appalling to the capital. Like, of course it is, because like what we said, it is a want. It is not a physical necessity. It is something more, but that also isn't really true.
Mm-hmm.
Because to someone like Lucy Gray, it is a need for her. And honestly, arguably, music is a need for all of us.
Right. As musicians, of course.
As musicians, of course. I have 3 drum heads hanging up right there. Just out of frame. Also, gotta point this out because I've been thinking about this for like 30 minutes at this point.
Oh, why didn't you say it?
Because it's so not important. Black headphones, white headphones, black shirt, white shirt.
This is like when Moist Critical wears a black. Wait, lights off, lights on.
Yeah, lights on.
Oppenheimer. But
We didn't
anyway,
plan
oh,
this.
Arachne Crane. I love her. I mean, she's Arachne Crane. But of course, you know that one of my favorite characters is Seneca Crane, and he's never explored on. And then we meet Arachne, the classmate who he knew since he was young, and then she dies at the hand of a district member, a district tribute, because she's being terrible. That's not even that's an objective fact. She's being terrible.
Mm-hmm.
It just makes me ponder on Seneca Crane and his family history. Or since the footage of the 10th Hunger Games only exists in the vault, what story they spun about Arachne in the following years when people were starting to forget that she died in the first place. I don't think they would forget her death, but forgetfulness and, oh, that one girl died, remember? Because knowledge is power, and Snow acknowledges that the capital is the ultimate source of knowledge in this North America setting. So for Seneca Crane, who later becomes a game maker, and who saves Peeta and Katniss from eating the Nightlock, what did they tell him, or what did they say about the district members? If that was his grandmother, your grandmother was killed by a district tribute and they were a savage, or did they try to hide that and say she was murdered in cold blood?
Well, it probably wouldn't have been his grandmother because she would have been 18.
Your great aunt? Your great aunt. Right, I didn't think about the family lineage.
I mean, it's possible.
I feel like if Arachne had been with another person and given birth to a child, she would have been socially excluded at the academy, and Coriolanus would have judged the hell out of her.
Mm-hmm.
He would not have liked her. He didn't like her to begin with, but he would have absolutely hated her if that had been true. So yes,
everyone.
Oh yeah,
everyone.
The only person I think he begins to feel a semblance of guilt for is Clemencia, which I love my Clemmy. I love her.
Mm-hmm.
Despite her participation in this. Can't help where you're born, I guess. I do love her. And she's so torn about Arachne's death. She's like, I can't write this paper. He's like, I'm going to write it. They write it, and then she gets bit by thousands of snakes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, Dr. Gall.
And grows scales all over her body.
And a sense of paranoia, PTSD, and the 2 people who witnessed it happen are actively trying to erase that piece of history, and you haven't seen your family in months while you're in days while you're in the hospital. Because this story takes place.
It does feel like months. It
in the
feels,
story.
Yeah.
Because the amount of time that he knows Lucy Gray, he says in the beginning, Classes for the academy start September 1st. The story starts on July 4th. He comes back to the Capitol in the end. Of course, we have the epilogue. And Dr. Gall says, well, classes start on Thursday. So that means we have July, August. That's the story. We're not even at the end of August.
And this is the longest one.
Yes.
This is a big book.
Imagine if it had spanned over a year. Also, why is school in session in July for them? Maybe Capitol people are weird. I just realized that. They're like, our best students are going to be a part of the Hunger Games. And then don't they have a class that, yeah, they're being assigned papers by Dr. Gall, and he gets fed lunch every weekday. Maybe it's a year-round school. I don't know. I just realized that, though.
It might be. I mean...
And then you graduate and go to... Do they just call it university? Is there only one?
I think it was... I thought it was a specific university he was trying to go to.
Because he just calls it the academy.
Yeah.
And then when he's talking about university, he just says the university. So I wonder if there's just one. I wonder what the acceptance... Okay, I bet the more schools are open, I wonder what kind of, like, school rivalry there is in the Capitol. Or, like, acceptance rates. Because, like, I'm at Chapel Hill. When I go to Chapel Hill, people there are so elitist. They're like, you know, UNC was my safety school. I could have gone to Duke or Harvard or Johns Hopkins. I'm like, it doesn't matter because we're both here. I don't know why you chose to come to this school, but I came for the band program and for the program of my major. And also because it's at home. Why the elitist mindset of acceptance rates and numbers and scores and how much money you have? Because people who go to Duke pay $40,000 a semester in tuition without scholarship or financial aid. What? Crazy. So I just wonder what that would be like in a future Coriolanus Snow's Rome.
I hope it's very Disney movie where with like rival basketball teams. Like I would kill like there's gotta be fan fiction of these characters, but they're on a basketball team instead of being mentors in the Hunger Games.
I'll write it, don't worry. I want it. Imagine High School Musical, but it's it's Coriolanus Snow as Troy, and Lucy Gay. I said Lucy Gay. Lucy Gray as... I don't know the other character's name. I've never seen High School Musical.
It would be a reverse High School Musical, though, because, like, the line I'm thinking of is, my head's in the game, but my heart's in the song. And...
Oh, so it'd be Lucy as Troy.
It would be Lucy as Troy.
Interesting. I wonder if they make movies in the Capitol.
Honestly, that's awesome. I love that. I love that for Lucy.
Have you ever seen The Boys? It's a TV
I have
show.
Not. I know.
It's
TV
okay.
show.
It's very gory.
Yeah, I know, but I have not.
Superheroes.
Mm-hmm.
The superheroes in the story are evil, of course, which is a very nice premise for a show. The superheroes that are famous in this oppressive system later become actors in movies about their experiences, which are then fake. So there's Homelander. Homelander's his main antagonist. They film something with him where he's talking about his childhood home and how he remembers every minute detail. That's where that meme comes from.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm wondering if that's the same way in the Capitol. Like, they took Finnick Odair and they made Finnick Odair a movie star and then made him reenact scenes from his Hunger Games with different actors because obviously those tributes aren't live. Or, like, fake things about his life. Like, they're going to keep replaying the stuff from the Hunger Games, but, like, if you were a Capitol citizen and I was Finnick Odair hungry, I would want to see Finnick relive it. But he looks handsome and sexy in this version, you know?
And not a child.
You get the vibe.
As
And
if,
not a child,
as
not
if the
16-year-old.
Capitol has that sort of. I don't know if they have that.
They're
I
into
don't know if that's
children.
a hang up for them.
They're like, wow, Katniss, at 16 years old, you're so beautiful and sexy. It's like, that's.
They
She's 16.
wanted they wanted to give her breast implants.
Oh, God.
The
That made
fact
my throat,
the
like,
the fact that Haymitch had to fight.
to make her more camera consumable. That's what that is. That's disgusting.
I also okay, on that topic, that very disgusting topic, I also kind of feel like part of that might have been Snow wanting to make her seem more mature.
Ugh.
Because to spin the whole lovesick teenager thing.
Oh, I was thinking about this. Okay, okay. Hear me out. So, his excuse.
Hear me out is a weird thing to say.
He starts thinking about turning in Sejanus, and the thing is, Sejanus did not have an excuse for treason. But when Coriolanus committed treason, I suppose, against the Capitol for cheating in the Hunger Games to protect Lucy Gray, I think Dr. Gall nearly gives him a pass because he was in love with Lucy Gray. And there was something going on there. They had the chemistry, they had the camera tension. She was a great star. He loved her. They kissed at one point, I think, in front of teachers and students. Likely the Academy was talking about it. The excuse was love. And now we see in Mockingjay, he goes to maybe this was in the beginning, Catching Fire. I'm not exactly sure. She's sparking rebellion. She doesn't have an excuse for it, just like Lucy Gray did it. And he says, convince me personally of this love story. Convince me. Because that's the excuse that you need. And Sejanus didn't have that excuse. He loved the idea of human rights. Sejanus is like, hey, what if we had human rights? And what if everyone was equal? And what if we all had an equal standing chance? Coriolanus is like, wow, I want to kill you.
I every once in a while I'll see a post that's like, give me your wokest take, and all the comments are just like, I think people should have rights. And it's crazy because that is him, and of course.
Did you pick up on this? Is Pluribus Bell married to a man? Is he gay? Is he canonically gay?
I didn't pick up on anything. You could be right. I don't know.
Because I almost feel like when I was reading, there was a neutral pronoun given to the partner of Pluribus Bell. I don't think the partner was ever given a name. And I don't remember ever being given a pronoun for that person. So they're kind of masked in mystery, whoever this was. It might have been a business partner, too.
It might
Because
have been.
Pluribus arguably doesn't live with anyone. But I was thinking, okay, he likes guys. Why isn't Coriolanus being an ass about it? Like, where's
Maybe
the
the Capitol
homophobia?
draws the line at homophobia.
But murder. Perfect.
We have standards.
We have standards, guys. Marry women, kill children. Right. I was about to say something very controversial about the Capitol, but I won't. I was gonna wonder what their belief system is on a very controversial topic, but I'm not gonna say it.
Yeah.
And I also wonder.
I feel like I don't know. I feel like that's part of like what's really good about the Capitol and about these books is that she doesn't go into everything because we're just like, yeah, we get it. It's an oppressive
That's what
government.
makes it so consumable.
Mm-hmm.
You just put your own beliefs in there. And I do wonder who she voted for, but I won't ask. I won't ask.
Let's see. I'm gonna look through my notes.
Okay. Let's see what I have screenshotted from my phone. Because
A
again,
little
my
too
phone.
early for Katniss. It's a little too early
Yeah.
for Katniss. That little cute little line. I was like, you know what you're doing. I do find it interesting that Dean Highbottom did give Lucy Gray money.
Right. I feel like it makes sense though.
It does, especially as this sort of Haymitch type character. Like, he's not in a position, and this is very much way too early for any rebellion to exist, and I think Sejanus is proof of that. Like, it's far too early for any of that.
The stars haven't aligned yet.
Mm-hmm. But
No wait, for Katniss with Plutarch.
it's a little too early for Katniss. But
That's a ringer.
it's just, yeah, it's just like, even though he's this very flawed character, he does want to help her where he can. Ooh. There's this line about, I believe, the tributes before the games dying of natural causes. And then he goes, well, is starvation a natural cause?
It's not.
No.
I highlighted this. I can't find it, but I might have highlighted it. Oh, right. So there are district tributes dying in the zoo. They have capital doctors, by the way, which is important to this point. They assign them a veterinarian. It says, anyway, the veterinarian couldn't save him, and they had to go off and address his loss. It's talking about, I'll read it. They did not have a chance to question him because Remus Doolittle appeared to inform them that the boy tribute from District 5 had passed away in the night due to complications from asthma or some such. Anyway, the veterinarian couldn't save him, and they had to go off and address his loss. A veterinarian? That's not a human doctor. Of course they couldn't save him from asthma. They're working with horses and raccoons with rabies. The one that bit Marcus?
Mm-hmm.
No, wait. It bit Reaper. And then, okay, yes.
Yeah. No, I thought that, I really liked that because of the whole rabies thing. Like, he got rabies in the capital. Such
They
like a
were so upset.
like such a poignant. I guess it's a very good metaphor for, like, he caught a disease in the capital. Like, you would think that the capital, it's pure and it's perfect, and no one could ever be hurt here. But it is someone who isn't born here that comes here and gets rabies.
And the fact that beforehand they were fearful because they were thinking he brought rabies to the district, from the districts, and now we are all at a chance of infection. And saying, but wait, he actually got it here. Ooh, so you were all at risk to start with. And you just didn't care. And you blamed it. You chose your scapegoat. And your scapegoat didn't work. Oh, Lysistrata talks about them being used, teenagers being used. She said,
yes.
Coriolanus tried to calm her. My cousin said to remember this isn't of our making, that we're still children too. And she says that doesn't help somehow, being used like this, especially when 3 of us are dead. Used, Coriolanus had not thought of being a mentor as anything but an honor.
That's another part where it's like, you could maybe try thinking about it in a different way. You could maybe...
They didn't choose the assignment, by the way. They did not choose. Here's the thing. The assignment was given to the top students at the academy, And I bet they knew that these students would try and back out and said, oh, wait, we will fund your university experience, all of it. A 4-year full ride for university. If you just do this, if you get traumatized and watch the person you are mentoring, because there are no barriers yet. There's a structural barrier of capital versus district. There is no set precedent for a mentor and the tribute yet. So yes, casually be traumatized by watching the person you came to care about die for the entertainment of others. So yes, they're being used.
Mm-hmm. It's such a risky move in so many ways for Dr. Gall to do. Because, like you said, they are forming this connection with these district children younger than them or around their age. Like, it is so easy to start to see that you are no different than them. Which I guess is the point that Dr. Gall is trying to get across. But I feel like you could easily. I feel like you could easily get the right message from the "we're no different" in this case.
Dr. Gall is cray cray, but I do love the conversations that she and Corio has, because for the first time he is forced to confront himself and say, what do I really believe versus what am I being told to believe? And they have a back and forth in Act 1, 2, and 3, as saying chaos, control. It was the 3 C's. Chaos, control, and another, and maybe capital. Contract, yes, because of the social contract. But it's a true moment of self-reflection for him, which then turns Aubrey because of who he becomes, of course. But I do love their conversations, even if her character is crazy twisted. She was like, ooh, my student recommended the Hunger Games because I told them to think of the cruelest thing they could imaginable. Let's make it real. Whoa. Whoa, girl. Don't do that. It's like, I'm trying to think. It's like a company posting on Twitter. They're like, if you were a fan of our products and worked at our company, what would you do? Yo, that is free labor. Free labor. I'm looking for the quote. Let's see.
She's just, it's so fun to see. Like the scenes where you get in anything a look into a character's philosophy are always so fun. Or like a discussion of what they believe. But especially when it's the villains. And you get to see why they believe what they believe. Like, did you see Thunderbolts?
No, I did not.
It was really good. But the character, the villain Val in that movie, she has this line in response to another character talking about like doing good or whatever. Oh gosh, what is the specifics? It's basically like morality without power is just your opinion, or something like that. Where you so clearly in that moment, you're like, I understand what this character thinks, and I hate it. I hate it. I don't like
Do
it.
I have something for you? You posted on your story that you were going to go see the Superman movie. I haven't seen it. I accidentally watched an interview with David, the main actor who plays Superman, without knowing that this movie had even come out. And then the interviewer begins to ask him about the role of Superman. And I was like, oh shoot, this is like a famous actor. But he begins to talk about Superman's power being his humanity.
Yeah.
And objectively, David says, the power is Superman's strength and the fact that he can provide for people. But it is his humanity, his morality, and what he wants to do that makes him Superman. Because you have no strength, he says, without the humanity that is there.
Mm-hmm.
And I will send you this interview. It's Royal Court with Brittany Broski. It's very jokey interview style because I love her.
I've seen some of the
But
clips of that. Yeah.
when he's
No,
answering that question, it's profound.
Superman. I love Superman so much. I've been a Superman fan for so long.
It's the Captain America dilemma.
Yeah.
What do you truly represent? Because I don't think Captain America represents America. I think he is a bigger projection. We call him Captain America because, of course, I think at the core he was a soldier and he represented those core American values, but he is bigger than that message
Mm-hmm.
with his kindness and what he wants to do for the world.
Yeah. No, I've always been partial to superhero characters that are, in one way or another, paragons.
Mhm.
Um, like that's why I tend to be more of a DC fan than a Marvel fan, is because
Okay.
DC superheroes typically are paragons. Like the Trinity, Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman in DC. Uh, like Superman's hope, Batman's vengeance, and Wonder Woman's justice. Like that's what they are, and they so clearly
Mhm.
represent those ideas, and it's so fun to see.
Mhm.
And typically, I I don't. It's not that a character can't struggle, like Superman can't struggle and falter in his ideals. But to me, it makes it less interesting if he is incredibly flawed. It can be hard for him, but at the end of the day, Superman must always be that symbol of hope.
Before I go,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm very hungry
And we've gotten off topic, and so.
and I want to eat it, but before I go,
Mm-hmm.
I will mention there is this joke Superman movie that's super old, and I think the villain of the Superman movie is trying to make a form of kryptonite, and he
Mm-hmm.
puts like a cigarette in the kryptonite, and Superman is exposed to this kryptonite, and he becomes like a greaser. Like, wait, what are they called? Greasers, right?
Mm-hmm.
He like starts wearing like his hair greasy. He starts smoking cigarettes. He becomes a womanizer, and that's just what that reminded me of, like him being flawed. I just think that that's a hilarious bit that I want you to watch because you're a fan of DC. I've seen one DC movie. I think it was Man of Steel when it came out
Mm-hmm.
in theaters. But I want to go see the new Superman.
It
I
was
do.
really good. It was really good.
Okay. Because I heard it was controversial, but I don't know why yet. So I'm just going to go watch it and not be offended because that's not who I am.
Yeah, go in blind.
Mhm. Well, I'm going to log off.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for
Mm-hmm.
hosting the ABC.
This was fun. We'll do Sunrise as well. I'm really excited for that one. Um,
Whenever you're available for that, because I know you're off to camp.
yes, 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 yes.